Okay, campaign 2024. So there are two spokespersons for Joe Biden. You know, Karine Jean-Pierre, okay? So she's the White House face to the core that are in on the grounds, all right? That's what she does. So Peter Doocy is probably the only television correspondent, White House correspondent, who gives Jean-Pierre a hard time. There was a report in Politico, which is a website, saying that there's disarray in the Biden White House. All anonymous sources. Nobody quoted for the record, which is not journalism. Doocy took that and did this. Go.
Are you guys here at the White House in full-blown freak-out mode?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
There's a Politico
Peter?
story. It sounds like Democrats outside, the quote is, Biden's stubbornly poor polling and the stakes of the election are creating the freak-out.
So, again, I'm going to be mindful. I'm not going to comment on 2024 election. I will say this. The president has never forgotten where he came from, who he is.
Yes, he has. He forgets who he is all the time. That's a cheap comment. I'm sorry. Now, what Jean-Pierre should have said is, I don't answer questions about anonymous sources. Period. I'm White House press secretary. Somebody hits me with what Doocy did and quotes a Political report that's all anonymous sources. I go, hey, you get a name attached to it? Come back and I'll answer the question. Otherwise, don't waste our time. I am criticizing Peter Doocy, and I've been very complimentary to him. But this is not journalism. Now, there's another guy, all right? White House National Security Communications Advisor John F. Kirby. His role is different than Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre takes the light stuff. Kirby takes the heavy stuff. Okay? Here is CBS senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe on Israel. Go.
How many more charred corpses does he have to see before the president considers a change in policy?
We don't want to see a single more innocent life taken. And I kind of take a little offense at the question. No civilian casualties is the right number of civilian casualties. And this is not something that we've turned a blind eye to, nor has it been something we've ignored or neglected to raise with our Israeli counterparts, including, Ed, this weekend as a result of this particular strike. Now, they're investigating it, so let's let them investigate it and see what they come up with.
All right, now Kirby handled it well. Okay? And O'Keefe, how many more charred corpses does Biden have to see before he changes his policy? Is that not an anti-Israel statement by CBS News? I believe it is. How many charred corpses do you have to see of Israelis killed on October 7th, Ed? Who started this war, Ed? Oh, but Kirby handled it pretty well. Nikki Haley over in Israel, okay? Flush off her endorsement of Donald Trump. Now I got a letter saying, hey, O'Reilly, she said she'd vote for Trump. She didn't endorse Trump. No. If you're voting for somebody, you're endorsing them, okay? All right. So former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley gets a pen, always a dangerous thing for a politician, and writes on a artillery shell, quote, finish them. America loves Israel always. Now, this was in the northern border with Lebanon. Now, Haley is a staunch supporter of Israel. So, what's really going on here? Nikki Haley wants to run for president in 2028. I don't believe she's going to be the VP pick. All right, it might be the strongest ticket, but Trump doesn't trust her. And so I don't think Trump's going to go. Trump wants somebody who's going to do 100% what Trump tells that person to do. That's what he wants. All right. So Nikki Haley's got to vote Republican, got to try to heal a little bit of the rift with Trump, and is staking out territory to run for president in 28. And that's what she's doing. And the evangelicals, the conservatives in America support Israel, by and large. That's what's going on. Anti-Israel protesters caused $3 million worth of damage at City College in New York City. That's according to the college. And they, agitators and protesters on campus, they broke a lot of stuff, and now the college is on a hook for $3 million. Now, there were a bunch of, we don't know exactly how many, dozens of protesters were arrested in New York City. None will be prosecuted by Bragg. I can guarantee you that. Unless they injured a cop, and I don't know if anybody was injured, but that's all going to go away. You wait and see. San Francisco. Okay. Been to Fisherman's Wharf. That's probably the biggest tourist place in San Francisco. You take a boat out to Alcatraz. You walk around. It's nice. A lot of restaurants. And 2 restaurants, Grotto, where I've actually eaten, heavy sauce Italian, and Tarantino's, the guys who own it have sued the city of San Francisco. Wow. Okay. So this lawsuit says out of control homeless, criminal activity in and around Fisherman's Wharf, and unsafe structural conditions have caused harm to the restaurant's business. They want millions and millions of dollars in this lawsuit. And so they filed it. That's chaos. Now, more and more people are going to do that in the inner cities because the crime and homelessness are killing their business. Now, the White House is downplaying all of this street crime. And they're using an organization called the Major Cities Chiefs Association. Never heard of them. Okay, I don't know what their methodology is, but they say first quarter 23 to first quarter 24, that violent crime is down substantially in America. Okay, so we checked the FBI stats because the Biden administration is using the Major Chiefs Association, of which we know nothing. And here's what the Biden administration put out. Quote, Americans are safer from violent crime today than a year ago. Today, an independent organization of police chiefs from the nation's largest cities released data showing that compared to a year earlier, violent crime declined across every category. First quarter of 24, murders are down 17%, unquote. So the White House under Biden's trying to say, no, all this crime stuff is baloney in San Francisco, in New York, Chicago, LA. No, it's going down. So the FBI stats say this, 22 to 23, we don't have the latest stats, 13% drop in murder, 6% drop in reported violent crime, 4% drop in reported property crime, 11% increase in motor vehicle theft. So that's a wash. Murder is down a little bit. But I'm wondering to myself, what really is going on? So we booked a good guest for you. His name is Detective David Sarney. He is a professor at John Jay College. The criminology program is the best in the country. He's 28 years on the NYPD, and he joins us now from New York City. So the perception of New York City, where we both are, is that the streets and the subways are unsafe. Yet the White House is saying, not really. What do you say, Professor?
If you look at the stats, the numbers are showing what they are. But there's a reality that you have to look behind those numbers. As you've seen a reduction in reported crime, and you have to look at the concept of reported crime in general. If there is no report, there is no crime, and that's how police have to respond in that way. If there's no report, we have nothing. You have a decrease in membership in police departments nationally. You have changes in the way complaint reports are generated. If you go to the West Coast in the Bay Area, they prioritize crime responses by police. And other jurisdictions, you're talking about Pittsburgh being one of them, you're seeing a situation where they're closed on certain mornings. So when you reduce crime, are we reducing the reporting of it, or are we really reducing the criminality in itself?
Okay.
And that's that's the area you have to
That's
look
what
at.
I think is going on. So Alvin Bragg, the district attorney in Manhattan, who's prosecuting Trump, he declines to prosecute 60% of the arrests brought to his office. 6-0, which I think is a record. Never happened before, that many crimes. So you can commit a violent crime in New York City and you're not going to get prosecuted for it. That's pretty much what you're saying, right?
What you're seeing, unfortunately, is when we had the Criminal Justice Reform Act that came into play around 2019 in New York State, the amount of paperwork to consider and actually prosecute cases became excessive. There was a time frame, a mandated time frame in order to bring everything in. So the prosecutors didn't have any finances in order to do such a thing. There was no resources available to them. So in turn, because of that inability of resources, you have them either deferring prosecution or declining prosecution. Not only that, you're seeing also police and unfortunately detectives who I've talked to numerous times. They are frustrated that the cases they bring to the prosecutors are getting deferred or declined without further investigate, without further work.
And that's what's happening. So when you are speaking to civilians saying, should I come to New York City on vacation for a weekend, all of that, I tell them you got to be very careful because you can get punched in the mouth and nothing's going to happen to the criminal. And the criminal knows that, which is why you have all these random mental health crimes. There's no will in the state of New York to stop these people. None. There's no will. So social disorder, not only in the city of New York, but all over urban areas, is rising because the people in charge, Alvin Bragg and the George Soros cadres, they're not interested in really getting these people off the streets. They feel sorry for them. Am I wrong?
You have seen an enabling of criminality. And we have seen, unfortunately, misdemeanors being declined, being dropped. You're seeing situations with police in general, not being, they make the arrest, they're out within 2-3 hours, the desk appearance ticket's gone. And by the time they prosecute this case, it's over. I mean, that's the reality. It's over.
Final
What we're
question.
trying to do.
Final question. I'm a student in your class. You're telling me what the reality is on the street because you know. I raised my hand. I said, well, Professor, with all due respect, the Biden administration is saying that crime in America is going down and that we are safer under Joe Biden than we were under Trump and the other presidents before him. How do you reply to that?
You have to look at facts and you have numbers, but you always look behind the numbers to begin with. I don't ever take one set of numbers as gospel.
But do you say no, do you tell the student, no, that's not true, what you're saying, it's not safer under Biden? Do you say that?
You can't say he's not, I'm not going to say it's not safer. Numbers wise, it looks it. But the reality and perception is criminals know they get away with it. So you're seeing that crime anyway. We're seeing crime. And I think when you see the crimes that are taking place, and you see them almost dead.
Because of all the cameras that are everywhere. All right, Professor, thanks very much. We appreciate it. And we will continue to report honestly on a crime situation. Being in debt is like sinking in quicksand. You become trapped. The harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. If you are trapped in debt, here is a lifeline. Done with debt.com. Done with Debt has created a brilliant new strategy with one goal in mind: get you out of debt quickly and permanently. They stand between you and your bill collectors. They negotiate a plan to end your debt permanently without bankruptcy and without loans. But you need to contact Done with Debt right away because some debt solutions expire and you don't want to miss out. Go to donewithdebt.com and get a free consultation. Talk with one of their experts and discover a strategy that will end your debt for good. That's donewithdebt.com. Again, donewithdebt.com. America's dirtiest city. What do you think it is? Not New York. New York's pretty dirty. Not LA. LA in places. What do you think the dirtiest city is? Houston. All right, this comes from Lawn Starter, a website who studied all the cities with this criteria: pollution, living conditions, infrastructure, consumer satisfaction. Here are the dirtiest cities: Houston, Newark, New Jersey, San Bernardino, California, Detroit, Jersey City, Bakersfield, San Antonio, Fresno, Oklahoma City, and Yonkers, New York, just north of Manhattan. Okay, I don't really have much to say. I'm surprised about San Antonio, that Riverwalk area and the Alamo. I was down there, it was fine. But those are the dirtiest cities. What are the best places to raise a family in the USA? Well, this is from Wallet Hub. Wallet Hub, pretty good. Okay, and these are the criteria: family fun. That's important. Health and safety, education, affordability, socioeconomics. No one knows what that is. Here are the top 10 cities for raising families. Here they are. Fremont, California. That's in the Bay Area. Overland Park, Kansas. That's KC. Irvine, California. Orange County. Plano, Texas, north of Dallas. Seattle. Gilbert, Arizona. I got to check Gilbert out. San Jose, San Diego, Boise, Idaho, Huntington Beach. Surf's up in Huntington Beach. Now, of all those cities, if I had to live in one of them, I'd live in San Diego. Best weather in the country. Smart Life, ordering food to go. So this is a new thing that Americans have embraced. Here are the stats. Ordering takeout or delivery up 43% in the last few years, according to American Diner Report. 43%. So Americans are just ordering food. They don't want to cook. And you either get it delivered to you or you go to the restaurant, pick it up. Okay. So 30% order over the phone. I order over the phone. 24% order through a website, and the rest of them use apps or whatever. Maybe they send out a kite. I don't know what they're doing, carrier pigeon. So 30% pick up, 26% drive through, 24% get it delivered, 19% walk into the restaurant. So that doesn't really count. So here's Smart Life tip. So the other day I ordered from Panera Bread. I like their soups, and the sandwich is pretty good. And you go in, you order, and you wait, and they make the stuff up. Okay, so they give me the bag, and I didn't check the bag. And they didn't put the tuna sandwich in the bag. They put in another sandwich and the soup, but not the tuna sandwich. They owe me, Panera Bread owes me a tuna sandwich. Believe me, I'm going to go in and ask for that tuna sandwich. And I'll report back to you what they say. I couldn't get there that quick. It's not that near my house. But I got stiffed because I didn't look inside the bag. That's Smart Life tip number one. Look when somebody hands you a bag to see if you got what you got. Smart Life tip number two, when you are calling the restaurant, you're not dealing with a PhD on the other end of the line. Now, a lot of them are kids, just trying to make a living, and I admire that. Just trying to sum a job, whatever it may be. After, and speak very slowly, after you give the order to the person on the other end of the phone, have them read it back to you. Okay? Check the bag, have them read it back. Smart Life, ordering food. By now you have heard me talk about Delta Rescue. They are a fantastic organization that helps rescue animals from the wilderness. I'm a dog lover, so is Leo Grillo, the founder of Delta Rescue. It is his life's mission to provide everlasting care for these once abandoned animals. I myself have donated to Delta Rescue. Do you believe it is part of man's duty to care for dogs and horses, the animals that so much of our history is tied to? If so, please consider making a donation or consult your advisor about leaving a gift in your will or trust. There can be some tax advantages, and it's a great way to help Delta Rescue accomplish their mission. So please visit deltarescue.org to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation supports America's greatest heroes, U.S. service members, and first responders who gave their lives, those catastrophically injured in the line of duty, and homeless vets. The Foundation's Gold Star Fallen First Responder and Homeless Vet programs honor the sacrifices made by men who fought and died for us, and women who risked their lives for our country as well. The Foundation's Never Forget program engages people in 9/11 remembrances across America with more than 80 runs, walks, and dozens of golf outings every year. The Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute educates kids from kindergarten through 12th grade about America's darkest day, while helping our nation keep its vow to never forget. So please support Tunnel to Towers. Donate $11 a month. Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. More than 95 cents of every dollar you donate to Tunnel to Towers goes to its programs. That's T, the number 2, another T.org. All right, final thought of the day. So I had to buy sandals, and I don't want to spend $200 on stupid sandals, all right? So I go to the Nordstrom's rack, and there they are, size 13, black, and they're perfect. So I get the box, and I go to the line, and the line doesn't move. Why? Because the cashiers are asking for personal information about the people who are buying stuff at Nordstrom Rack. And the customers are giving it to them. Finally, I get up there, and a woman goes, I think it was $35, something like that. She goes, your phone number, please? I go, I'm not giving you my phone number. She goes, what? I said, why would I give you my phone number? I want to buy the sandals. Well, I need a phone number and address. I said, I'm not giving you my address. I'm not giving you any personal information at all. Here's my credit card. It's valid. Put it in and give me the sandals in a bag. That's all I want. And she, it's unbelievable. Now, usually I would have walked out and not bought it, but I needed the sandals. So I stood there and I just looked at her. I didn't say anything. I just looked at her. And after the diatribe, I said, I'm not giving you any information. Are you going to take it, or do I have to get a manager? Takes the card, swipes the card, blah, 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 blah. Never give personal information to a clerk anywhere. That's insane. They will call you. They will hector you. That information will go other places. Do not do it. And Nordstrom's Rack, stop. Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. And we will see you again on Monday. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.